Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 80, and I'm continuing the story of 12 Iron Sandals. The princess, after that second night of trying to pull the needles out from her husband's body, had gotten to where there were only a dozen needles left when the door creaked open, and that wicked enchantress, she told her to get out, screamed at her, said, "Leave before I get angry." And as the princess turned to go, she held out her left hand, on which there was an incredibly precious ring. The princess said, "The large diamond alone is worth more than this entire palace." The wicked enchantress, she was quite taken by the ring, and of course she knew the price that she would have to pay. "One more night," she said, "one more night. But this time it will be different. For in the morning you shall be taken out and beheaded." The princess, what more did she have to lose? She agreed. She went off that day, and just like the day before, she could not rest, could not sleep, for she was excited about what lay in store for her. As night approached, she made her way back to the palace. She suddenly heard her foot on a rock. She looked down and saw that she had worn a hole in her last iron sandal. The other one was almost worn thin as well. She thought about the end, having worn out 12 iron sandals. She reached in her bag where she kept her iron bread. There was but one piece left. She placed it in her mouth to eat it. And for the first time in all those months, which had turned into years, that bread tasted good. She suddenly felt a renewed energy surging through her body. She felt confident that this time she would succeed as she made her way up the stairs toward the palace doors. But she still had the staff, and no matter how hard she leaned on it, it would not break. In she was led to the king's chamber. She was prepared again for what she would see, all those needles in his body. But she swayed a little bit because the number, had doubled. She immediately got to work pulling those needles from his body. His skin regained its normal color as she did so. His breathing returned to normal. She felt confident. As I said, she felt confident she would succeed this time. But that she had not broken that iron staff, well, it hung like a dark cloud over her. How could she be through? How could she succeed if the staff had not broken? On she worked, needle after needle after needle. She endured the pain like she had not on previous 2 nights. She just seemed to be determined. She did not look out the window to see that dawn was approaching. And when she heard that creak of the key in the lock of the door. She pulled one of the last 2 needles from the right eyelid of the king, and his eye opened. She thought then and there that that one look was enough. It had all been worth it, just to see him open his eye. She wrapped her fingers around the last needle, but she could not pull it out. The door opened. The wicked enchantress screamed, "Seize the intruder!" 2 guards came up to her and grabbed both of her arms. And as they pulled, she did not let go of that needle. And it pulled out as they pulled her away. The king's eyes both opened. He sat up. He sprang out of bed. He pointed to the wicked enchantress and called to the guards, "Seize her instead." The guards were happy to do so, for they had never liked that wicked enchantress. She was locked away in a prison, and the princess and the king rejoiced in each other's embrace. Princess, now queen, king and queen, as far as I know, they are living quite blissfully to this very day. And that wicked enchantress, I will leave it up to you to decide what happened to her. Okay, end of the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your day or evening.